You know that feeling when your whole world just shatters? Like, one minute you're living your normal life, and the next, everything you thought was real turns out to be the biggest lie ever told. Yeah, that was me 3 months ago. My name is Claire. I'm 32 years old, and I'm about to tell you how my husband and my own sister decided to blow up my life. But more importantly, I'm going to tell you exactly how I made them regret every single second of it. And no, this isn't one of those stories where I just cried and forgave them. Not even close. So grab whatever you're drinking, get comfortable, because this is going to be a ride. Let me set the scene for you. I thought I had everything figured out. I really did. I'd been married to Ryan for 6 years. We met in college, started dating senior year, and got married 2 years after graduation. He was handsome, successful, and everyone always told me how lucky I was. My sister Emma, she was 28, 4 years younger than me. Growing up, we were close. I mean, we had our fights like all sisters do, but I thought we had that unbreakable bond, you know? I was her maid of honor when she got engaged at 25. I held her hand through her messy divorce a year later. I let her crash at our place for 3 months while she got back on her feet. I was there for her, always, and this is how she repaid me. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me tell you how I found out, because it's honestly so cliché it would be funny if it wasn't my actual life. It was a Tuesday. I remember because I had taken the day off work to handle some stuff around the house. Ryan told me he had back-to-back meetings all day and would be home late. Emma had texted me that morning saying she had a hot date and would fill me in later. I was happy for her. Can you believe that? I was actually happy. Around 2 in the afternoon, I realized I'd left my good earrings at Emma's apartment the week before when I'd helped her rearrange her furniture. I texted her asking if I could swing by and grab them. No response. She was probably getting ready for her date, I thought. I had a spare key to her place. She'd given it to me for emergencies, so I drove over, let myself in, and called out her name so I wouldn't startle her. No answer. I walked toward her bedroom to check her jewelry box where she usually kept my stuff, and that's when I heard it. Sounds coming from her bedroom. And not just any sounds. The kind of sounds that make your stomach drop before your brain even processes what's happening. I should have left. Looking back, maybe I should have just walked out and saved myself the image that's now burned into my brain forever. But I didn't. I pushed that door open. There they were, my husband, my sister, in her bed. They didn't even notice me at first. I just stood there, frozen, watching my entire life collapse in real time. It was Ryan who saw me first. His face went white, like ghost white. Emma screamed and grabbed the sheets. And me, I didn't scream, I didn't cry, I didn't throw things. I just looked at both of them and said 4 words. This is really happening. Then I turned around and left. My phone started blowing up before I even got to my car. Ryan, Emma, Ryan again, Emma again, 50 texts in 5 minutes. I didn't read any of them. I drove to a coffee shop, ordered a black coffee I didn't drink, and just sat there. My hands were shaking so bad I couldn't even hold the cup properly. Here's the thing nobody tells you about betrayal like this. The initial shock is almost numbing. You're so overwhelmed that your emotions kind of just shut down. It's like your brain is a computer that just got too much information and needs to restart. I sat in that coffee shop for 3 hours. When I finally checked my phone, I had 127 messages. Most were from Ryan and Emma, but word had apparently spread because some were from my mom, my best friend Melissa, and even Ryan's brother. Ryan's messages went through this predictable pattern. Claire, please let me explain. It's not what it looked like. Please come home so we can talk. You're overreacting. And there it was. Not even 6 hours after I caught him in bed with my sister, and he was telling me I was overreacting. Emma's messages were somehow worse. I'm so sorry. It just happened. We didn't mean to hurt you. It was a mistake. A mistake, like she accidentally tripped and fell onto my husband's dick, multiple times, because this clearly wasn't their first rodeo. That night I stayed at Melissa's place. She was ready to go full murder mode, but I still couldn't feel anything. I was just empty. But then I started thinking, really thinking. I replayed the last 6 months in my head. All those late nights Ryan had been working. All those times Emma canceled plans last minute. That weekend, Ryan went on a work trip to Denver, the same weekend Emma said she was going to visit her college friend in Denver. How long had this been going on? I started looking through old texts, photos, anything. And once you know what you're looking for, the signs are everywhere. They were so obvious I felt stupid for missing them. There was a photo from Ryan's company party 2 months ago. I'd been sick with the flu and couldn't go, so he went alone. Except there, in the background of a group photo his coworker had posted, was Emma. At his company party. Why would my sister be at my husband's company party when I wasn't even there? There were text exchanges where Emma would ask me what time Ryan got home from work. At the time, I thought she was just making conversation. Now I realized she was coordinating their schedules. There was the time I came home and found Emma's hair tie in my bathroom. Ryan said she must have left it last time she visited. I believed him. I pieced it together that night. This had been going on for at least 4 months, maybe longer. 4 months of lies. 4 months of them sneaking around. 4 months of looking me in my face and pretending everything was normal. And that's when the numbness wore off and the anger set in. The next morning, Ryan showed up at Melissa's place at 7 a.m. Melissa answered the door and told him to leave. He refused. He started shouting through the door, making a scene in her apartment building. He was crying, begging me to talk to him. I still didn't open that door. Emma started calling from different numbers because I'd blocked her. She got our mom involved, and suddenly I was getting calls from my own mother telling me that Emma made a mistake and family forgives family. Are you kidding me? My mom actually said to me, "Your sister is devastated. She feels terrible about this." And I said, "Oh, Emma feels terrible. Well, that changes everything. Let me just forget that she's been sleeping with my husband for months." My mom didn't like that response. Here's what really got me. Nobody was treating this like the massive betrayal it was. Everyone wanted me to calm down, to talk it out, to work through it. Ryan's family. My family. Even some of our mutual friends were saying things like, "Marriage is hard, and you should at least hear him out." Hear him out? What was there to hear? What possible explanation could make this okay? A week after I caught them, I finally agreed to meet Ryan. Not because I wanted to reconcile. I needed to get some of my stuff from our house, and I wanted answers. We met at the house. Our house. The one we'd bought together 3 years ago. The one we'd painted together, furnished together, made plans about filling with kids someday. Ryan looked terrible. He hadn't shaved, his eyes were red and puffy, and he looked like he hadn't slept in days. Good, he started talking immediately. The words just poured out of him. He said it started at a party 4 months ago. They were both drunk. It was a mistake, but then it happened again, and again. He said he tried to stop it, but he developed feelings for Emma. Developed feelings for my sister. Then he said something that made me want to throw him off a bridge. "I love you both. I don't know what to do. This is tearing me apart." This was tearing him apart. I just stared at him, and then I laughed. Not a funny laugh. A slightly unhinged laugh that made him look uncomfortable. "You love us both," I repeated. "How very modern of you." He tried to grab my hands. I pulled away like he was on fire. Then he said, "Emma feels the same way I do. We're both confused. We never wanted to hurt you." And that's when I realized something. He wasn't sorry he did it. He was sorry he got caught. There's a difference. 2 days later, Emma cornered me at our parents' house. I'd only gone there to pick up some old documents from storage, and somehow she knew I'd be there. She looked just as terrible as Ryan, and just like with him, I felt nothing but cold satisfaction. She tried to hug me. I stepped back. "Claire, please, you're my sister. We need to talk about this." "Talk about what exactly?" I said. "About how you've been sleeping with my husband, or about how you looked me in the eye every single day while you were doing it." She started crying. "It wasn't supposed to happen. We tried to fight it, but Claire..." What we have, it's real. What they have is real. My sister, my own sister, was standing in front of me telling me that her affair with my husband was real. "Are you in love with him?" I asked. She hesitated, then nodded. "And he's in love with you?" Another nod. "So what do you want from me, Emma? My blessing. You want me to be happy for you too." "I want my sister back," she whispered. "I want us to find a way through this, as a family." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. She wanted to keep Ryan and keep me as her sister. She wanted everything with no consequences. "You made your choice," I told her. "You chose him over me. Every single time you met up with him, every lie you told me, every time you hugged me while you were doing this, those were choices. So no, Emma, you don't get to have both." I left her standing there crying, and I went home and started planning. Here's what I knew. Ryan and Emma wanted forgiveness without consequences. They wanted me to either disappear quietly or somehow accept their relationship. My family wanted me to be the bigger person. Everyone wanted this to go away with minimal fuss. Well, I wasn't going to give them that. But I also wasn't going to do anything crazy or illegal. I wasn't going to destroy their property or blast them on social media like some people suggested. That would make me look unstable, and more importantly, it would make people sympathize with them. No, what I was going to do was much simpler. I was going to be successful, insanely successful. I was going to build such an amazing life without them that every single day they would have to face what they gave up and what they chose instead. But more than that, I was going to expose what true loyalty actually looked like, something both of them clearly knew nothing about. See, Ryan had always been competitive. It was one of his defining traits. He hated losing at anything, even board games. And Emma had always been insecure about her achievements compared to mine. She dropped out of college while I graduated top of my class. She'd gone through 3 jobs in the time I'd built my career in marketing. I was going to use all of that. I hired the best divorce attorney in the city, and I mean the best. Margaret Chen had a reputation for being absolutely ruthless. Our first meeting, she asked me what I wanted. "Everything I'm legally entitled to," I said, "and I want this done fast. No reconciliation clauses, no waiting periods, I want out." Margaret smiled. "I can work with that." Turns out I had more advantage than I thought. We lived in a no-fault divorce state, but that didn't matter because of how our assets were structured. The house was in both our names, but I'd put down the entire down payment from my inheritance when my grandmother died. I had records of that. I'd also been the primary earner for the first 3 years of our marriage while Ryan was building his business. I'd supported him financially, emotionally, and professionally. Margaret got to work. The divorce papers were served to Ryan at his office, in front of his colleagues. Was that petty? Yes. Did I care? Not even a little bit. He called me immediately, freaking out. "Claire, what the hell? You're really doing this?" "What did you think was going to happen, Ryan? That I'd just get over it. I thought we'd at least try counseling or—" "There is no we anymore. Sign the papers." He didn't want to. He actually fought it. Hired his own lawyer, tried to drag it out. But here's the thing. I had all the receipts, all the proof of my financial contributions. Text messages I'd recovered from our cell phone records showing his affair. Proof that he'd used our joint credit card to buy gifts for Emma. His lawyer took one look at everything Margaret presented and advised him to settle. The whole thing was done in 6 weeks. I got the house. I got most of our savings. I got out. And most importantly, I got my life back. The day the divorce was finalized, I did something I'd been thinking about for years but never had the guts to do. I quit my job. I'd been working as a senior marketing manager at a mid-size company for 5 years. It was stable, it paid well, but I was bored out of my mind. I'd always wanted to start my own consulting business, but Ryan had always talked me out of it. Too risky, he said. Not the right time, he said. Well, Ryan wasn't in my life anymore, was he? I used part of my divorce settlement to set up my own marketing consultancy. I reached out to every contact I'd made over the years. I worked 16-hour days. I said yes to every opportunity. and it started working. Within 2 months, I had 5 clients. Within 4 months, I had 12. I was making more money than I'd ever made in my life, and I was doing it on my own terms. I also joined a gym, started therapy, reconnected with friends I'd lost touch with over the years. I'd always wanted to learn photography, so I took a class. I traveled to Iceland by myself, something I'd always dreamed of doing. I wasn't just surviving without Ryan. I was thriving, and I made sure everyone knew it. I wasn't petty enough to post about the affair on social media, but I was definitely petty enough to post about my amazing new life. Photos from Iceland, posts about landing new clients, pictures from dinner with friends looking happy and healthy. I never mentioned Ryan. I never mentioned Emma. I didn't have to. My success spoke for itself. Meanwhile, I heard through mutual friends that things weren't going so well for the happy couple. Turns out, when you build a relationship on lies and betrayal, it doesn't have a great foundation. Who knew? Ryan's business started struggling. Apparently, some of his clients found out about the affair, not from me, small towns talk, and didn't appreciate his character. He lost 2 major accounts. Emma lost her job. I don't know if it was related to the affair or just her usual pattern of not being able to hold down employment, but either way, she was unemployed. And here's the kicker. They moved in together, into a small apartment because Ryan had to sell his condo to cover his business losses. The affair that was so real and worth destroying a family over. Yeah, they got to live it every single day, in a cramped apartment, with money problems, and the knowledge that everyone in their lives knew how they got together. 6 months after the divorce, my mother called. It was Thanksgiving, and she wanted the whole family together, which meant she wanted me to sit at a table with Ryan and Emma and pretend everything was fine. I laughed. You cannot be serious. Claire, it's been 6 months. At some point you need to move forward. Emma is still your sister. We're still a family. No, Mom. Emma made her choice, and so did you when you took her side. I didn't take her side. I'm trying to keep this family together. By asking me to sit down with the people who betrayed me, that's not keeping the family together. That's asking me to set myself on fire to keep them warm. There was silence on the other end. If you can't come for yourself, come for me, she finally said. Please, I'm asking you as your mother. And that's when I got an idea. Fine, I said. I'll come on one condition. My condition was simple. I wanted to bring someone. My mom agreed immediately, probably thinking I was bringing a friend for emotional support. I wasn't bringing a friend. I was bringing Marcus. Marcus was someone I'd met through a mutual client about a month earlier. He was a photographer, which is how we connected, through my photography class. We'd been on a few dates. Nothing serious yet, but there was definitely potential. He was also absurdly handsome, successful, and charming. And when I explained my situation to him, yes, I was honest about my petty motivation, he thought it was hilarious and agreed to come. I've always wanted to be part of a dramatic family dinner, he said with a grin. The plan wasn't to make Ryan jealous, exactly. The plan was to show up happy, to show them that I had moved on, to walk in there with my head high and show them that their betrayal hadn't broken me. It had freed me. Marcus picked me up at noon. I dressed carefully, not trying too hard but looking damn good. A burgundy dress that fit perfectly, my hair done, makeup on point. When we walked into my parents' house, I could feel the energy shift immediately. My mom looked surprised and pleased. My dad looked confused. And Ryan and Emma sitting together on the couch. They looked like they'd been hit by a truck. Everyone, this is Marcus, I said cheerfully. Marcus, this is my family. That's my mom, Susan, my dad, Robert, and that's my sister Emma and her boyfriend Ryan. I didn't say my ex-husband. I didn't give Ryan that importance. He was just Emma's boyfriend now. Emma's face went red. Ryan couldn't stop staring. Marcus, bless him, played it perfectly. He was charming and polite, shaking hands, making small talk, completely at ease. We sat down for dinner. I made sure Marcus and I sat across from Ryan and Emma. I wanted them to have a perfect view. Dinner was exactly as awkward as you'd imagine, but not in the way my family expected. I wasn't awkward. I wasn't uncomfortable. I was happy. I talked about my business, about my recent trip to Iceland, about the photography exhibit Marcus and I had visited last week, about my plans to expand my client base internationally. Every single thing I said was a reminder of how well I was doing. Emma barely ate. She kept pushing food around her plate, stealing glances at me and Marcus. Ryan was even worse. He kept trying to insert himself into conversations, trying to seem successful and put together, but it was obvious he was struggling. At one point, my dad asked Ryan how his business was going. "It's been challenging," Ryan admitted. "Lost a few clients, but we're rebuilding." "Claire, how's your consultancy?" my dad asked. "Amazing, actually. I just signed my 15th client last week, and I'm in talks with a tech company in Seattle about a 6-month contract." The look on Ryan's face was priceless. Emma tried next. "Are you still doing photography, Claire? I remember you mentioned wanting to learn." "I am. Actually, that's how I met Marcus. I took a class, discovered I love portrait photography, and we connected at a gallery opening." Marcus added, "She's got a real eye for it, natural talent." Emma went quiet again. After dinner, while my mom was serving dessert, Ryan asked to talk to me privately. I said no. "Claire, please, just 5 minutes." "Anything you need to say to me, you can say in front of everyone here." He looked around the room. Everyone was watching now. Emma looked panicked. My mom looked worried. "Fine," Ryan said. "I just want to say, I see you're doing well, and I'm happy for you, but I also want you to know that I regret what happened. Every day I regret it." The room went silent. I looked at him, really looked at him. This man who I'd loved for 8 years, who I'd built a life with, who I'd trusted completely. And I felt nothing. No anger, no sadness, nothing. "Do you regret what you did?" I asked. "Or do you regret losing what you had?" "Both," he said quietly. "Well, that's something you're going to have to live with, because I've moved on. I'm happier now than I've been in years, so you and Emma can keep your regrets. I don't need them." Emma stood up suddenly. "You think you're so much better than us, don't you? You come in here with your new boyfriend and your perfect life, rubbing it in our faces." "Emma," I cut her off. "I came here because Mom asked me to. I brought Marcus because I'm dadding him. I talked about my life because people asked. I'm not rubbing anything in your face. I'm just living well. If that bothers you, that's a you problem." "You're being cruel," she said, tears forming in her eyes. And this is where I really let her have it. "I'm being cruel," I stood up. "Emma, you slept with my husband for months. You lied to my face every single day. You asked me for advice about your dadding life while you were sleeping with Ryan. You came to my house, ate my food, smiled at me, hugged me, all while betraying me in the worst possible way." I said I was sorry. Sorry doesn't fix this. Sorry doesn't undo the damage. Sorry doesn't give me back the 6 months I spent questioning my sanity because I knew something was wrong, but everyone told me I was imagining things. My voice was rising now, months of anger finally coming out. "You want to know what's cruel? Cruel is watching my own sister choose a man over me. Cruel is having my own mother tell me to forgive you like you just borrowed a sweater without asking. Cruel is everyone expecting me to be the bigger person while nobody holds you accountable." Emma was full-on crying now. Ryan looked like he wanted to disappear. My mother was pale. I took a breath and lowered my voice. "I came here today to show you something. Not to rub anything in your face, but to show you what loyalty looks like, what self-respect looks like, what it looks like when someone chooses themselves instead of accepting crumbs from people who don't value them." I looked at Marcus, who gave me an encouraging nod. "I'm happy now, genuinely happy. And you know what the funny thing is? It took you destroying my marriage for me to realize how unhappy I actually was. So in a weird way, thank you. You did me a favor." I turned to my parents. "Mom, Dad, I love you, but I need you to understand something. Emma and I will never have the relationship we had before. That's not me being cruel or holding a grudge. That's me having boundaries and self-respect. She made choices. Those choices have consequences. I looked at Ryan and Emma one last time. I hope you two are happy together, I really do, because you gave up a lot to be together. Ryan, you lost a wife who supported you, believed in you, and loved you unconditionally. Emma, you lost a sister who would have done anything for you. I hope what you have is worth all of that. I grabbed my purse and Marcus stood up with me. We're going to go. Thank you for dinner, Mom. As Marcus and I walked to the door, my dad stopped me. Claire, wait. I turned around. My dad, who hadn't said much all evening, looked at Ryan and Emma, then back at me. I'm proud of you, he said simply, for standing up for yourself, for building a new life. Your mother and I, we handled this wrong. We asked you to be the bigger person when we should have been protecting you. I'm sorry for that. My mom looked shocked, but she didn't disagree. I hugged my dad. Thank you, I whispered, and then Marcus and I left. In the car, Marcus let out a low whistle. That was intense. I laughed, actually laughed. Yeah, that was a lot. I'm sorry you had to witness all of that. Are you kidding? That was the most honest family dinner I've ever been to. Most families just passive-aggressively argue about politics. You guys actually said what you were feeling. Did I go too far? I asked. He thought about it. No, I think you said exactly what needed to be said. They needed to hear it, all of them. We drove in silence for a minute, then he asked, How do you feel? Lighter, I said, and I meant it. I feel lighter. The next day, my dad called. After we left, he told me the whole dinner had fallen apart. Emma had a breakdown, crying about how she'd ruined everything. Ryan tried to comfort her, which led to them fighting because Emma accused him of still having feelings for me. My mom tried to mediate, which led to my dad finally speaking up and telling them that they had made their bed and now had to lie in it. I've been thinking a lot about what you said, my dad told me, about loyalty and consequences. You were right. We asked you to forgive when we should have been asking them to understand what they'd done. Thanks, Dad. Your mother wants to apologize too, but she's not ready yet. You know how she is, but she will. Give her time. I've got nothing but time, I said. Over the next few weeks, I heard more updates. Ryan and Emma were apparently fighting constantly. The reality of their relationship, without the excitement of sneaking around, was not living up to whatever fantasy they'd built in their heads. Ryan's business continued to struggle. Emma got a new job but hated it. Meanwhile, I landed my biggest client yet, a contract worth more than I'd made in an entire year at my old job. 3 months after Thanksgiving, Emma called me. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity got the better of me. Hello, Claire, her voice was small. Can we talk? We're talking now. I mean in person, please. I need to tell you something. Against my better judgment, I agreed to meet her at a coffee shop. Neutral ground, public place. When I got there, Emma looked terrible. Dark circles under her eyes. She'd lost weight. She looked exhausted. We sat down, and for a long moment she just stared at her coffee cup. Ryan and I broke up, she finally said. I'm sorry to hear that, I said, and I was surprised to find I actually meant it. Not because I wanted them back together, but because I could see she was genuinely hurting. He cheated on me, she continued, letting out a bitter laugh. Can you believe that? We got together because he cheated on you with me, and then he cheated on me with someone from his gym. I didn't say anything. What was there to say? I told you so. That seemed too easy. I know you probably think I deserve this, Emma said. And you're right, I do. This is karma or justice or whatever you want to call it. Emma. No, let me finish, please. She took a shaky breath. I destroyed our relationship for a guy who turned out to be exactly who he showed himself to be, a cheater. I was just too stupid and selfish to see it. Tears were running down her face now. I miss you, she whispered. I miss my sister. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness. I know I burned that bridge, but I needed you to know that I understand now. I understand what I threw away, and I'm so, so sorry. Here's the thing about forgiveness. It's complicated. I looked at my sister, broken and crying in front of me, and I felt sad. Not for her situation with Ryan, she'd walked into that with her eyes open. but sad for us, for what we'd been and what we'd lost. Emma, I appreciate you saying all of that. I do. But I need you to understand something. An apology doesn't erase what happened. It doesn't rebuild trust. It doesn't fix us. I know, she sobbed. I know. But, I continued, it's a start. Maybe not to us being how we were before, because that's never going to happen. But maybe, eventually, to us finding some kind of new normal. She looked up at me, hope in her eyes. I'm not there yet, I said firmly. I'm still angry, I'm still hurt, and I need you to respect that. I need time, a lot of time. Anything, she said, whatever you need. And I need you to understand that things will never be the same. I will never trust you the way I did before. You won't be the first person I call with good news. You won't be my maid of honor if I get married again. Those privileges, you lost them. She nodded, wiping her eyes. But maybe someday we can grab coffee, talk about superficial things, be friendly. I don't know if we can ever be close again, Emma. I honestly don't. But I'm willing to see if we can at least be civil. Thank you, she whispered. That's more than I deserve. Yeah, I agreed. It is. After I left that coffee shop, I thought a lot about revenge. The thing is, I got my revenge, but not in the way people usually think about it. I didn't destroy their property. I didn't blast them on social media. I didn't try to turn everyone against them. My revenge was living well. My revenge was building a life so good that they had to watch it and know what they'd lost. My revenge was showing them that I didn't need them to be happy. In fact, I was happier without them. But more than that, my revenge was showing them what real loyalty looks like. Loyalty to myself, to my values, to my boundaries, to my self-respect. I didn't compromise who I was to make other people comfortable. I didn't set myself on fire to keep them warm. I didn't shrink myself to make their betrayal seem less significant. I stood up, I spoke my truth, I built a new life. And that, more than anything else, was what made them understand what they'd lost. It's been almost a year since I caught Ryan and Emma together. My business is thriving beyond my wildest dreams. I have 23 clients now and had to hire 2 contractors to help with the workload. I'm making more money than Ryan and I ever made combined. Marcus and I are still together. It's getting serious. He's nothing like Ryan. He's honest, communicative, and he thinks my success is sexy instead of threatening. We're talking about moving in together. I traveled to Japan last month, saw the cherry blossoms, took 1,000 photos, felt completely at peace. Emma and I have had coffee 3 more times. The conversations are still surface level and a bit awkward, but they're civil. She's in therapy now, working through her issues. I'm glad for that. Not because I've forgiven her completely, but because everyone deserves to work on themselves. My relationship with my mom has improved. She apologized, finally. It wasn't easy for her. She's not great at admitting when she's wrong, but she did it. We have lunch once a month now. We don't talk about Emma unless necessary. My dad and I are closer than ever. Turns out, standing up for yourself can actually strengthen some relationships while ending others. As for Ryan, I heard he moved to another city. New job, fresh start. I hope it works out for him. Not because I care about him anymore, but because I genuinely don't wish him ill. He's just irrelevant to my life now. If you're going through something like this, if someone you trusted has betrayed you in a deep way, I want you to hear this. You don't owe anyone forgiveness. You don't owe anyone a second chance. You don't owe anyone your pain packaged in a way that makes them comfortable. What you owe yourself is loyalty, respect, truth. People will tell you to be the bigger person. What they really mean is, make yourself smaller so everyone else can feel better. Don't do it. Being the bigger person doesn't mean accepting disrespect. It means having enough respect for yourself to walk away from people who don't value you. The best revenge isn't destruction. It's construction. It's building a life so good, so full, so authentic that the people who hurt you become footnotes in your story instead of whole chapters. It's waking up one day and realizing you haven't thought about them in weeks. It's feeling genuinely happy instead of just pretending to be. It's becoming the person you were always meant to be, the person you couldn't be when you were trying to maintain relationships that were slowly killing you. That Thanksgiving dinner, that wasn't about showing off or rubbing anything in anyone's face. It was about showing them, showing everyone, what true loyalty looks like. True loyalty means being loyal to yourself first. It means not betraying your own values to make others comfortable. It means standing up for yourself even when everyone is telling you to sit down. Ryan and Emma chose each other over me. That was their choice. But in doing so, they showed me they never understood what loyalty meant. They thought loyalty was something you performed when it was convenient, when it was easy, when it didn't cost you anything. But real loyalty is hard. It's keeping your commitments even when something shiny and new comes along. It's being honest even when lies would be easier. It's respecting the people you claim to love. They failed at that, spectacularly, but I didn't fail. I stayed loyal to myself, to my worth, to my future. And that's something they have to live with every single day. Someone asked me recently if I would have preferred to never find out, if I wish I'd just stayed in blissful ignorance with Ryan. And I can honestly say, no, finding out hurt. It was one of the most painful experiences of my life, but it also freed me. It freed me from a marriage where I was doing all the emotional labor. It freed me from a sister who was willing to stab me in the back. It freed me from a family dynamic where I was expected to always be understanding and accommodating. Most importantly, it freed me to become who I am now. I'm stronger, I'm happier, I'm more confident. I know my worth, I know my boundaries, I know what I will and won't accept. Would I go through it again if I had the choice? Hell no, but I'm grateful for where it led me. So that's my story. That's how my husband slept with my sister, and how I made them witness what true loyalty looks like. Not through destruction or revenge in the traditional sense, but through building a life so authentic and fulfilling that their betrayal became the best thing that ever happened to me. If you're going through something similar, please know it gets better. It really does. Not immediately, not easily, but it does. Choose yourself, be loyal to yourself, build a life that reflects your worth. And let the people who betrayed you watch from the sidelines. That's the best revenge there is. Thanks for listening to my story. I hope it helped someone out there who needed to hear it. And remember, you're not defined by how people treat you. You're defined by how you treat yourself in response. Choose yourself every single time.